You knew my friend Sharon Gilmore, didn't you? She died on these stairs. She fell all the way down to the bottom. It was an accident, they said. And you and I know that that's not true. Don't we, Mr. Stewart?
Or rather, Miss Bennett.
Good morning, Mr. Stewart. How was your meeting with Mr. Westmore last night?
Fine. You know Mr. Westmore, do you?
I didn't realize he delivered your mail to you. By the way, did he happen to mention whether or not he'd been able to acquire Burns's house?
No, he didn't. He said he was rather interested.
You know, Mr. Stewart, something's just struck me as being rather odd.
What's that?
Doreen Burns. Mr. Westmore wanted to buy her house and she refused to sell. Then she was threatened by an unknown male officer and had to be released from solitary, obviously for her own protection. And then last night at the hotel, Mr. Westmore arrives and hands you a rather large envelope.
I don't see what my meeting with Westmore and the pub has got to do with all this.
You must admit it's rather interesting. Now, Burns happens to sell her house as well. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Davidson's calling a staff meeting later this morning to discuss the whole incident. I'll see you there.
Why bother the governor? She's a pretty busy woman.
Not too busy for this.
You're going to look a fool, Vera. I had private business with Westmore, nothing to do with anyone in this prison.
Okay, tell her that.
Vera, I thought we were supposed to be friends.
You seem to have some very peculiar friends.
You mean Westmore? He's all right.
It doesn't seem right to me. What was he doing pressurizing Doreen into selling her house?
He offered her a perfectly good price. Now, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Unless it turns out you're getting a cut on the side. You're supposed to be in the prison service, not real estate.
I'm telling you, everything was above board.
If that's so, you've nothing to hide from Mrs. Davidson.
Come on, Vera, there's got to be some pickings in this lousy game. You know what it's like. I mean, the scum that we've got to look after, the abuse we've got to take. You've been taking abuse from these vindictive bitches for years. Don't you think you're worth more than the mere pittance that they pay you?
I'm quite satisfied with my salary, thank
Are
you.
you? Well, I'm not. I deserve more out of this game, and I'm going to make sure that I get it.
Have you been leaning on Doreen Anderson?
Why, what do you mean?
Intimidating her.
Good God, no. Only tried to point out to her the wonderful business opportunity that was been presented to her. I mean, $100,000 for a normal suburban house, that's a damn good price. If anything, I was doing her a favor.
And yourself no harm.
Okay, sure, so I did get a little bit of commission.
We're not here to get little bits of commission. I'll have to tell the governor.
Yeah, well, you do that. I can't say that I'm not disappointed, though. I looked after you when that Vincent woman put you on the spot.
There's a difference. I was innocent.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us.
Mrs. Davidson trusts me.
Does she? That's why she took Kerry Vincent's word against yours, eh?
I have already spoken to Mr. Fletcher, so he knows about this. We have a very serious problem concerning one of the male staff. At least it will be serious if the accusation is true.
Who laid the complaint, Mrs. Davidson? One of the prisoners?
Indirectly, yes.
Then you can't give it any credence, can you?
Excuse me, Mrs. Davidson, but surely this concerns only the officer in question.
It would if we knew his identity.
Unspecified charges against an unspecified officer?
The charges are specific. Doreen Anderson, or Burns as she is now, is being terrorized by someone in here into selling her house.
But why does it have to be a member of staff?
Are you sure there's no pressure from outside? I mean, she had one visit, at least from one pretty rough-looking character.
No, Paul Reed is sure it is someone in here. Her husband asked her why she had changed her mind about the house, and the answer came back, he would have killed me.
She's not very reliable, though, inclined to fantasy a bit.
Why didn't she say who it was?
Doreen Anderson doesn't make much sense at the best of times. Scared half out of her wits, even less. I could hardly get a word out of her, much less a name.
If it is a man, there aren't many candidates.
No, that is why it is so unfair on the men who are not involved. I can only ask you to use your eyes and ears. And if you do hear anything, to let me know immediately. I don't like asking you to spy on a fellow officer. But if there is one rotten apple, we have to get it out of the barrel. Well, that is all. Good morning. Thank you for your attention.
Got a minute?
Haven't you heard? I got 10 years.
So I owe you an apology.
Yeah?
I know you didn't kill Sharon.
Well, I'm glad the penny finally dropped.
Look, I'm sorry. I thought it had to be you.
Naturally.
Don't make it easy for
Hey.
me.
What finally convinced you?
I know who really killed her.
Who?
I can't say right now.
Oh, now, come on. I know there are a few murderers on the premises, but I'd kind of like to know who's still in business.
Look, give me time, will you?
Time? Hell, the life I saved could be my own.
You're right. I've promised Dora I wouldn't say anything. Look, I'm sorry, honey. We can't let him get away with this. Jock Stewart killed her.
Why, for God's sake?
Well, she must have heard him having Doreen about the house. You know, sell up or I'll beat the hell out of you.
Is that why you've been so freaked out? Why didn't you tell someone?
He'd have killed me.
Is that why you agreed to sell?
I had to be.
You should have told one of the screws.
Who would have believed me? It was me against him. He'd already told me that he'd knocked off Sharon and they were saying it was an accident. I didn't want an accident to happen to me. And now she's gone and told everybody and it's going to get back to him and I only have to be in solitary just once and he'll get me.
Oh, stop worrying, Dor. You got friends. We'll see you're all right, love.
Yeah, we're going to see that he gets his.
Yeah, how? He's as smooth as butter.
Well, if we could set him up, then the screws would see what a murdering bastard he really is. Are you with me, Bea?
I'll think about it.
Don't be. Maybe you'll leave me alone now I'm going to sell the house.
And that's going to make everything all right, is it? Not in my books, it's not. Now, are you going to help me set him up or not?
I said I'd think about it. Don't worry, kid. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Thanks for not telling the governor, Vera.
Only through lack of proof. You did threaten Anderson, didn't you?
She overreacted, that's all.
You must have thrown a scare into her. Perhaps I've proof enough. Anderson's condition, her husband's statement, plus me seeing you with Westmore. Well, that all adds up to a fairly convincing body of evidence.
You can discount Anderson. She's a rat bag. Just look at her history. Look, I'd go and see the governor myself, but I've already been in front of a royal commission.
You were innocent, of course.
Of course. Of course I was. I was acquitted. But any more suspicion coming my way and I could lose my job. Now, don't do that to me, Vera.
I couldn't care less if you lost your job. Men shouldn't be working here anyway.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you half the commission if you keep your mouth shut. That's half of 10% of $100,000. Keep moving, ladies. We don't want that gourmet meal getting cold now, do we? You get any complaints, Burns? Or are you quite happy with the way things are?
Doreen's not that cheerful, Mr. Stewart.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, she's been pushed around a bit lately.
Has she? By who?
We thought you might know that.
You're a quick man with a hard push, aren't you, Mr. Stewart?
No lodging. Come on, move along. All of you, come on, get on your way.
Did you break Sharon's neck before you threw her down the stairs? Or did the fall do it?
I said move it. That breakfast bell went minutes ago.
Sharon was a pretty girl, wasn't she? That how you get your kicks, killing pretty girls?
What's she trying to do? Get into the pound for life.
You know, there was a whore in here who said you had quite a reputation for beating up the girls. What did you do to Sharon?
What's this, Bryant?
You know, no one was watching you. You didn't give her a chance, did you? All you did was give her a quick push from behind.
That's enough of that, Bryant. All right, women, move. You heard me, move. You're supposed to exercise control over these women.
Oh, the only way to stop that crazy woman is with a fist. But I raise one finger and immediately I'm the heavy. I tell you, a man just can't win.
What was that about Gilmore?
Oh, Brian's absolutely bomb.